So we're going to talk about how to apply for an entry-level position. I'm from Yes Employment Services, and most of what I do, most of what I have done while I was working there is work directly with students. But I also do preparation for any individuals going into a new field. So this is what we do at Yes Employment, is prepare people and make sure that they have the tools and the primary tool of a good resume to get into that entry-level position. So that's what we're going to focus on. So basically, if you're wondering who Yes Employment serves, these are our actual clients. So we, for those of you who don't know, we're all ages now. So we do still run our student programs where we still do deal with youth, primarily during the summer months. But we, through Employment Ontario programming, serve all ages. So basically, your best bet is to walk in the door. So if you want to access any of the services or the help that I'm talking about, you just come and visit us. We're right across from Intercity, off Dunlop, across from Fox on the Run. Okay, so when we're starting to put together a resume, and that's your primary tool when you're looking for a new position, you need to look at your skills inventory, okay? Employers want to know what skills you have, what skills you're bringing to the position, okay? You have to keep it employer-centered, and that means identifying the skills that will directly apply to the position that you're applying for. So how do you find those skills? Where do you start? That's usually the questions that I'm asking when someone comes in looking for an entry-level positions are questions about their accomplishments. Okay, everyone has accomplishments. Not everyone has job experience. How many of you have worked already? Have had a job? Good for you. Young people that have had work experience. That's awesome, and it's great to have that on your resume. But everyone has their first job they're applying to. And basically, you do have skills. Everyone has skills. Everyone's bringing something to the table. And the skills that you have, you get from your accomplishments, the things that you've achieved. So let's look at some of those. Again, when you're looking at your list of accomplishments, start with everything. Okay, don't leave anything aside. You're not going to end up with everything on your resume, but you do need to look at everything you've ever done. Don't ignore the types of things that provide you with skills that aren't paid labor. For example, we have some people that came in and they helped their uncle tear down a shed and rebuild it. Okay, that is not a paid work experience. It's actually for a family member, but those are valuable skills that directly that you can derive from your accomplishments to put on your resume. So think about all of the kinds of things that you've done. Lessons, music lessons, swimming lessons, recreation, all of the things that you're involved with, all the things that you've achieved. And you're going to list those, and that's where you're going to get your skills. That's what you're deriving your skills from. In addition, if you go through this whole process of listing all those accomplishments, then when you go to prepare for your interview, you're looking at your skills, and basically you can look at your accomplishments and prepare to give those really solid examples to the employer. Okay, it says here you're a hardworking individual. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Well, then you look at your list of accomplishments and you say, well, I helped my uncle tear down a shed and we actually rebuilt it from scratch. We did the roofing, we did the drywall, we did everything. So those are the kinds of things that will help you prepare. So that list of accomplishment and the skills derived from it. So let's look at that. So this individual doesn't have any paid work experience, but he assisted with minor hockey league registrations every year. He led hockey drills and provided team and scheduling information to parents. Not a paid work experience, but look at all the skills that he gained from that. Communication skills, organization skills, leadership, team building, customer service, community involvement. He's athletic and he's energetic. Okay, these are all actual skills. People say, oh, I don't have any skills. Oh, I haven't really done anything. But just from that one accomplishment, that one volunteer experience, all of those skills that person actually has that will apply and impress the employer. This individual actually worked for a landscaping company again over the past 2 summers. And he's, be elaborate. Think about that experience and what you actually did on a day-to-day basis. And think about it and try to compose a little story around it, because that story is what's going to be impressive to the employer, the proof of what you did. So that sort of shows that he's a hardworking, he's productive and efficient, he's dedicated, he's creative. Landscaping is a creative a creative job, takes pride in his work. He's able to accomplish a diverse set of tasks on time to client standards, okay? So when you're looking at skills, it's a little bit more formal language, okay? Your accomplishments is the story behind it. The skills might need a little bit of tweaking, and that's, you know, the time to come in to see someone at Yes Employment or talk to a teacher, your career studies, just to really tweak those skills and put it into the language that the employer is expecting. This is an entry-level position. Perhaps this person has a little bit more experience, but she's breaking into a new field, so this is equally important. So you're looking at accomplishments and you're deriving skills from those accomplishments. So a little bit of a different accomplishments here. She coordinated a volunteer program. She had to track volunteer hours, schedules and recruiting. So again, the skills she derived from that was project management, communications and marketing, responsible for supervision, really important if that's what the employer is asking for, self-motivated, strong numeracy skills, and accountable. Okay, these are the kinds of really strong skill words that the employer is looking for and may use in their actual job description. She also taught English as a second language in Japan for 1 year, chaired curriculum review committee, and made recommendations to administration. Okay, so again, a very concise little description, but from that she derived skills such as risk-taking, analytical, able to motivate and lead in the workplace, ability to bridge cultural barriers, world traveler, successful liaison between staff and administrators. Okay, so again, pulling those skills out that may match the language that the employer is expecting. And if you have difficulty formulating that, there's employment agencies that can help you with that. So basically, that was a list of skills. And that's great because we need those skills. We need those skills that are going to actually match the employer's qualifications that they're asking for. But what you want to do on your resume is not just list a bunch of skills, one-word skills, okay? First of all, your resume is going to be a little lopsided, but you want to qualify those. You want to demonstrate that you actually do have those skills. So just in brackets, right after the skill, you want to tie it to something that's going to be further down in your resume. How did you get those skills? Where did you get those skills? Where have you demonstrated those skills in your past? Whether it's through recreation activities, whether it's through actual work experience, volunteer experience, how did you gain that skill? So let's look at a demonstration of that. So this individual has strong leadership skills. Okay, I could leave it at that. But an employer is probably going to give it a little bit more weight if I have an example. So his example is Leadership Thunder Bay graduate. Okay, I know that's a well-known program in Thunder Bay, so I know, yes, indeed, he does have the strong leadership skills that I'm looking for. Committed to safety on the job. Okay, this is a list of certifications and very impressive. It's going to qualify and show the employer that indeed he's committed to safety. So first aid, CPR certified, safe food handling, 2011. So if this is something that the employer is looking for and asking for, these are certifications that you can get fairly quickly, and they really do beef up your resume, and every employer is interested in safety on the job. They're looking for people who are committed to that, because obviously that shows that you're committed, and that also injury on the job is not going to happen. Organized. A lot of people put organized on their resumes, and if you can qualify it with a really good example, all the better. So this person actually has assisted with Mayor's Walk event planning 2009 and 2010. Okay, so if you have some volunteer experience that shows you're coordinating your volunteer work, that event planning, anything like that is a good qualifier for that. Punctual and reliable. Employers are always wanting, when they come to Yes Employment, they say, can you get someone who's going to show up for work on time and not miss a shift? That's primary. Again, we're talking about entry-level positions. A lot of them is training on the job. You don't need to bring a huge amount of skill to the job, but you do have to show that you're going to be a responsible, reliable employee. So if you can demonstrate that as well, that's great. So this person actually had newspaper delivery by 8 a.m. daily to 35 households, 2006 to 2008. When we look at people's resumes and they say, oh, I just had a newspaper route, employers are very impressed by someone who can get up early and do that at a young age. That is actually valued by employers, and we really recommend that people put that and elaborate on it, exactly what you did, especially if you collected funds for that. Okay, and finally what we try to do when we're helping someone do a resume, at the very least, they need to give us a job field, a job goal. So a resume for landscaping is going to look completely different than a landscape for cooking, for example. So as much as you can, try to match it. And if you have a job description with qualifications listed, all the better. Then we can actually tailor it to that specific job, and that's what you want to do. Okay, take the extra time to make that resume very specific to the job, and that will give you the edge when you're looking at getting to the interview stage. So let's look at how we do that. If we do have a job description, and here we have, they're looking for someone who is detail oriented. And they're pretty specific here, able to read, understand and follow a store inventory and restocking schedule. Well, no one has something that's that specific. Perhaps, but you've done something similar. So what you want to do is not say that, yes, I've done that exact thing, but I could be trained because I've done similar things. So this person is organized and detail oriented. So they're using the same language in their description of their skills on the resume. Converted all client paper files to electronic database for law office. Okay, so this would be their parentheses, and then later on down in your resume, you would talk about that experience at the law office in more detail, but you're basically tying it to something down below and qualifying that you do actually have that skill, and you're using the language that the employer provided in qualifications. So you're really being specific. They're also looking for numeracy skills, which is, actually, I'll just move away from it. Yeah. Numeracy skills, again, most entry-level positions will require it, especially if you're in customer service and you're using a electronic cash register. So numeracy skills, they want to make sure that you know how to make change. So this person is actually strong numeracy skills, straight A math student. And if you're not a straight A math student, you can say excellent math student, or you know what I mean, if you have that skill, or if you actually have that experience collecting money or making change, even if it's just operating the cash box at a volunteer event. Those are numeracy skills, and those are highly valued, usually the minimum standard for a customer service position where you're going to be using a cash register. And the final qualification here listed is professional work ethic and communication skills. Okay, professional work ethic translates to that key requirement that employers have, that you show up for work on time and you don't miss shifts. And the other one is communication skills, very, very valuable to employers, and you should be demonstrating those in your resume. Okay, your best communication skills should be demonstrated in your resume. So we've got here highly dedicated, worked evenings and weekends to complete file transfer by deadline. Okay, that means that person is dedicated, has a strong work ethic. They're worried about getting the job done, and they're willing to put in more time. So I'm saying yes, they have that requirement. And good communication skills, their proof there is acted as a liaison between lawyers, clients, and administrative staff. Three very different sets of groups. Your communication skills would have to be at a very high level for each of those groups. So again, you're relating to people, you're using your best interpersonal skills, and you're demonstrating that by providing that example on your resume. So this is something that it can be very specific. If you have a job that you actually have in front of you with the qualifications listed, try to match that language wherever possible. Oops. So basically, that is an outline of what you would need to do. Okay, so number one, listing your accomplishments, deriving the skills from those accomplishments, and then deciding which skills to put on the resume depending on the job posting itself. If you have those exact qualifications, all the better. If you don't, if you're just looking at a specific job field, you can sort of guess the qualifications that are going to be valuable to that employer and match those, and we help people with that all the time. So if you do have a specific employer, an employment agency like Yes Employment can also help, because we deal with a lot of those employers and we know what they're looking for.
I appreciate very much following Sharon's presentation, because what you'll find today when I go through our session here is that I really do emphasize the fact to really shape your skills and your application and your resume to the jobs that we have posted at the City of Thunder Bay. Because as you can appreciate, we are a large employer in the community, and we do post probably 300 to 400 vacancies annually, but we receive over 10,000 applications a year. So the competition in some categories of employment can be quite competitive. So you really do want to shape it to meet the skills of the job. And I'll talk a bit more about that as I go through our slides. So I will focus today on why you want to work at the City of Thunder Bay, how you can learn about our employment opportunities, as well as how to apply. And then I will share with you some hints that I want to leave you with here today before you leave about applying, okay? So why do you want to work at the city? There are several reasons. One of the ones we talk about often is that you can experience your importance, okay? You can demonstrate the high value on people through our focus on wellness, fast-track medical services. Health and safety is a critical role, and a variety of employee-friendly policies. We are a great place to work. There are tangible benefits. We are competitive in terms of our pension and benefits and healthcare packages, if that applies to some of the entry-level positions that you apply for. As well, though, we also have a great employee family assistance program that is available. You can unleash your potential. No matter what position, we offer in-house training and development programs to support your career goals and help you do your job better. You can know that your work matters. No matter what area of the department or organization or division that you work in, you can know that we all work hard to provide the best service to the citizens of Thunder Bay, and we also recognize our employees on a regular basis. We are an organization that embraces diversity. Is it? Okay. We have a diverse workforce that reflects the city's commitment to workplace equity. You as an employee can make a difference. We have a strong focus on customer service, innovation, and maximizing technology. We have an extensive employee suggestion program at the City of Thunder Bay because we recognize that our managers or our general managers or even our city manager won't always come up with an ideal suggestion that will improve time and efficiencies. One of the other reasons you want to work for us is that you will be joining a dedicated team. We have a strong team that actually is a network of individuals who are valued for what they bring to our city and our community. You can be a part of building our community because, as you know, as a corporation of the City of Thunder Bay, we provide a number of services to the community, and it is rewarding in itself to be a part of that. And all of us at the city are also proud to support many volunteer organizations that touch the lives of people in our community. And if you're not from the City of Thunder Bay or you're thinking about maybe working outside of Thunder Bay, I want to encourage you to stay and enjoy a superior lifestyle. Because as you can appreciate, we have really a recreational paradise at our fingertips and the comforts of a small community. So as I mentioned, we do post several positions at the City of Thunder Bay. And all of our open competitions are posted for 7 working days, and they go up every second Friday, okay? We do have our temporary vacancies that may arise here and there, and they are posted intermittently, so there isn't a standard time when those will be posted. So I encourage you to often visit our website. You can call our job hotline, and I actually did leave with you some employment cards for you. Hopefully everybody has one of these. On it, it has our job hotline number, our website, our fax number as well. Visit these areas often because we will post them, our opportunities on there. We also do post them on Service Canada on the job bank, and we also welcome you to come to Human Resources because we post them in our front foyer there at any time. I did also include in front of you, just to give you an idea what our competitions or our job postings look like. Everyone should have one of these in front of them. This is actually a current one that we have for a food service worker, and it is closing in the middle of December. And I think, Sharon, you folks at Yes post all of our job opportunities up there in your bulletin boards. So we do communicate across the community our employment opportunities. But this is what they look like. It'll tell you obviously the position, it will tell you the department, the division, whether it's temporary, irregular, part-time, full-time, etc. It'll also give you the closing date. But one of the things I want to just highlight for you, because I think a lot of people aren't aware, is that on our job postings, okay, we literally take the job description for that job and put it on here, okay? So everything there is, well, not everything, but our generic principles for the job is listed on here. So going back to what Sharon mentioned earlier about, you know, when you're applying, to really, you know, shape your application to, you know, illustrate that you have the skills and abilities as listed on our job posting. So for example, on the back page, it talks about skills and abilities and your ability to communicate effectively and concisely, both orally and writing. Your ability to work independently and as a team member. Demonstrate ability to practice good lifting and safety and sanitation techniques, etc. When you're applying, I encourage you strongly to look at these skills and shape your application to meet those skills. Okay? And also, just to highlight for you, we do have several positions within the organization that have what we call conditions of employment. And what that refers to is that there are certain things that will need to occur prior to you starting work, i.e. We have a lot of positions that if they're working in the vulnerable sectors, either with elderly or young children, there will be a requirement for a police records check. So we put this information on the posting because those types of conditions need to be done prior to you actually starting in the job. Okay, this job in particular is within our Homes for the Aged division, and there is a conditional employment requirement for a what we refer to as a tuberculosis TB skin test. Okay, that is a standard requirement for anyone working in our homes, and that actually can take anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks to have that completed and brought into us to make sure it meets conditions. So that's what our competitions look like. Okay. So now I told you where you can find the the vacancies. Let's talk a little bit about how you can apply. Okay, in front of you, I have also given for you a sample of our application form. Okay, this is a hard copy format, and it illustrates for you the information that we need. So it talks about, obviously, if you're applying. One thing I want to tell you is, as I mentioned, we list several competitions at the same time. And so I encourage you, at the very top of the posting, we have what we call a competition number. So for example, the food service worker says COM 16511. Please put that competition number on the application form, right at the top right-hand corner. If it's not on there, there's no guarantee that your application will be put with the competition. Okay, it's very important. And then fill out the fields accordingly. So you're going to talk about your education, your employment history, driver's license information, etc. And at the very back, it talks about, please use this space to summarize any information necessary to describe your full qualifications and or attach a resume. I encourage you greatly, again today, if you leave here, please put an application, but also a covering letter and resume, okay? But don't discount this opportunity here. If you have skills that you want to communicate, you can do it here as well, okay? I should also mention that because we do have several applications that come in for our posted, unfortunately we can't accept applications that aren't in response to a competition. We just don't have the resources to deal with the volume. So it's very important that I mention that today. I can tell you that in the future we are looking at acquiring an online application software program so that you can apply directly online. At this time, however, we don't have that, but you can complete your application, you can mail it in to us, you can drop it off personally at Human Resources. You can also email it to us, and we do have the email address on these employment cards that we've given you. That's recruitment@thunderbay.ca, or you can fax it to us as well. Just make sure it comes in by the closing date. Okay, so for example, the posting in front of you indicates December the 12th, 2011. Oh, does it say August? Do you have August? No, on the back. The closing date is on the back.
Oh, okay, sorry.
And the beginning is the posted date.
Oh,
okay? It's by 4:30 p.m. on that day. Okay? This is a hard rule. We do not break that rule. We can't accept it at 5 o'clock. We can't accept it at 5:15 because it is a competition, okay? So very important to get it in by 4:30 p.m. Just to mention about the applications, we don't keep them on on file if it's not a response to a competition, okay? So anything that's received in response to a competition, we do keep it. And just a note, if you are applying for multiple or different positions at the same time, please remember to complete one application for each job or competition that you're applying for, okay? And I already mentioned, I'll just reiterate that unfortunately we cannot accept applications after the closing date at 4:30 p.m. Okay? You can pick up our applications, as I mentioned, at Human Resources. It is available, downloadable off of our city website, and our city website is also listed on this job card for you. If you'd like, and if for some reason you're unable to get one of our applications, give us a call at the number provided here, and it's 625-2364, and we can fax a copy or even email one to you if that's something that you need. Okay? And I'm just highlighting here, so important to include the competition number. Have I said that a lot already? At the City of Thunder Bay, every year we have what we refer to as our summer employment program, and there are a number of vacancies that come up each year, and each year it varies depending on the need, and obviously budget approval, of course. And we begin the process for accepting applications in early December, okay? And we communicate with the Confederation College, Lakehead University, all of our high schools, Yes Employment, and several other agencies in the community. And we accept them until the end of February of the following year. So I think this year is February 28th. I had to check my calendar, I'm not certain. And you can send them in through the same vehicles that I mentioned, through fax, email, or you can drop them off personally at the City of Thunder Bay. The jobs that come up for our summer employment program, there are several in recreation, working with our playgrounds and our leadership staff out there. We work very closely with Kim Baskin, who's the supervisor of the programs for children and youth. So they're always actively recruiting for those summer positions. We have several positions in general labor with our parks division, our roads divisions. Also, we have several positions that come up in golf services because we have the 3 municipally run golf courses at the City of Thunder Bay. So we have positions such as rangers, clerk clubhouse, even laborers out there as well. We do have clerical type positions in office environments that arise as well. I believe this past summer we had some in revenue, we had one in human resources. Materials management has some positions that come up in storekeeper type capacities. So there are several different positions. And I would encourage you in early December to visit our website because there's a whole section on summer employment program. As students, in order to be eligible, you have to be enrolled in a full-time at an educational institution and returning full-time the following year, okay? So when we receive the applications, we do forward them to the division, and then the division does their shortlisting and sets up interviews. And those that are to be interviewed will be notified. I often get the question, well, how long does it take before the position is filled? And really it does depend on the vacancy and the need. On average time we're saying is about 6 weeks from the closing date. Okay. So I want to leave you with some helpful hints, and I think I've already covered them because I probably repeated them a few times. I share this quote here. The candidate most likely to secure an interview is the one who has developed an effective resume. It will not guarantee you the job, but if done properly, it may open the door. Okay? So I again refer you to this brochure that's in front of you. And it does talk about some helpful tips, and some of the first things that they'll talk about is when you have that application in front of you, I encourage you to make sure it's fully complete. Okay? Oftentimes we may see an application that comes up and the competition number is missing, or they haven't indicated their education or even their past work experience, or they haven't signed or dated the application. These are all important things that we need to know. Okay? And when you're applying, if you're not currently an employee with the City of Thunder Bay, you do fill out the white application form, the exact one I just provided in front of you. The reason I mention that is I don't want you to be confused, because if you come into human resources, there are two colors. There's a green one and a white one. And the green one is for current internal employees, okay? And also, and I appreciate you asking about the summer program, because when we launch our summer program, there's more applications and they're all different colors. So we encourage you, again, it's the white application form. And just to recap, and I shared this already, I think it was Emily here who asked about the process. When we get the application form, it's really our tool on how we shortlist, okay? Because we have our job description, we derive our hiring criteria from that job description, and then we begin our shortlisting process. And we look at each and every application that we receive. A lot of feedback. And use the opportunity to tell us about your skills, experience as much as possible. And again, this booklet will reiterate the fact, again, a cover, letter, and resume, very, very important as well. And resumes, I often get the question, well, how should the layout of the resume be, etc. There are so many different styles and templates out there. And this booklet that we have here, there's some do's and don'ts listed on there. There's some information about visual appeal and impact and the layout. You know, in my experience in seeing the types of applications that we've seen, don't make it all right. Well, I think I am at the last of it here. So if anybody else has any questions, I will stay behind a few moments if anybody wants to approach me individually, and I can address your questions. And thank you for having me come to speak. I really enjoy doing this. Thank you.